Hi everyone, it's that time of the year. Are you looking to be more organized this coming year? Hi everyone, it's your social media extraordinary Elizabeth Hall with Smart Office Help Social Media Agency. And today I'm going to be talking about a tool that you can use in conjunction with your social media, and that's TimeTrade. Now, TimeTrade is an appointment and scheduling tool, and the reason why I wanted to do a tutorial on this is because it's something that I use every day, and again, I use it in conjunction with my social media. You have to always remember when using social media that the goal should be, or one of your goals should be, to guide followers away from your social media and to where the real magic happens, and that's on your website, and you want to convert those people. So booking appointments is very important, and you can do that kind of in an automated way with TimeTrade. So I'm going to show you how to use it in a series of videos here. So by the end of the videos, you should be a TimeTrade expert. So here we go. Over to TimeTrade. If you go to timetrade.com, you'll get this big screen like this, and maybe down the line, if you're viewing this video, maybe a year from now, it may be the same, it may be a little bit different. But if you haven't already signed up for an account, you can go ahead and do that. It's free. Of course, they have some upgraded options that you can pay for, but the basic service is free, so you can take advantage of that. So to do that, you're going to go up here to the top in the menu where it says sign up and log in. So let's do that. I already have an account, so I'm just going to go ahead and log into the account, and this is the first screen that you'll see, and I'm going to go ahead and close out of that screen. And the first thing that you'll need to do when you're setting up your account is to make sure that you go into the admin area and you add in your information. You'll add in your name, address, telephone number, and most importantly, you're going to put in your time zone, because the appointments will be booked within your time zone. So if it has the wrong time zone in there, that could be a little bit problematic. So make sure that you set up your time zone as well. And you can do that in the tab here at the top where it says account. Now, I'm not going to go into the account because it has some information in there that I like to keep private, but you can go in there and set your information up. Now, and one other thing is you can connect your Google Calendar to TimeTrade, and it's pretty simple and straightforward, and it's in the admin section too. I'm not going to go over that. So let's go on to the next piece of this TimeTrade tutorial. Now, once you come into TimeTrade, what you'll see is a little quick start guide, and we're just going to go past that. And next, you'll see I have like a listing of some of the calendars that I have set up. And if you're new to this, then you won't have any calendars set up. The first thing you'll need to do is go to activities, so select activities, and here is where you'll create an activity. Now I'm going to quickly go through how to create an activity, and then I'm going to show you one that's actually already set up. So we're going to go to create an activity, and we're just going to put in like some test information. So here you can create an activity from scratch, or you can create an activity by copying details. So let's copy the details just to make this a little bit faster of another activity. So we'll select podcast interviews. So for this particular instance, we're going to use podcast interviews. So you'll block off how much time you want for the interviews, and I'm going to be doing mine. It's about 45 minutes, so I'm leaving a little bit of leeway in there in between because I'll be doing some batches. And so you can hit the drop down box and you can select the time that you need. And then I suggest leaving block off time. You don't really need that piece because within the duration, you can kind of block off the time that you need. Now, you can actually put in a description as well, and this is the description that will show on people's calendars, and we'll get to that in a moment. But for this instance, I have podcast interview with Elizabeth Hall at Smart Office Help, social media agency on blab.com. Now, the next block that you have, this is an optional block, and is saying how will you meet with attendees. So if you're doing a Skype call, you can put that on there. If you're on Blab, you can do it that way. If it's just by phone, you can put a phone number here. And for this particular instance, we put by phone, and then we gave the attendees some additional instructions. So basically, I told them to head over to a certain website link to get more information. Now next we'll go down to next. Okay, here's where you're going to build your schedule. Now because I copied this, the schedule should already be here. So if you go here to the top, there's a couple of tabs. So you'll have your calendar view, and then you have a table review. So let's look at the table review. So here in the table, it shows where I have some items already here, but I'm going to show you how to make these. Let's go back over to calendar view. So in the calendar view, I want this to start in January. So with these little arrows that are here near the middle of the screen, you can select to go to the next week. And you'll see this starts on Monday, ends on Sunday. And so it has 7 days. So I selected 2 different times that will be available for people to actually schedule their podcast interview with Smart Social Media Notes podcast. And to do that, I'm just going to show you one. I'll just select a time. We'll say it's going to be at 2 o'clock. So I'm just going to select at 2 o'clock, and it automatically will put an hour in because we told them, or we told the program, that we want this to be 1 hour. And so now 1 hour is in. And I also want to make this reoccurring. So I'm going to select options, select the drop down menu, and then I'm going to say reoccur this window every Friday. Now, don't worry if for some reason you need to change it. I'm going to give you a little bit more information on this. So I'm going to say reoccur, and you can stop it at any time you want, but I'm going to let this go infinitely, and I'm going to say save. So now I have 3 time slots for this. Now, you can also go here to advanced availability options, and we're going to select here. And here it's going to give you some more options. You can have an end date, and again, I'm going to let this run. And then you have don't let users book appointments on the current day, and I suggest that you select that because you don't want any last minute people coming into open slots and then you don't know about it, because that can potentially create some conflicts. So the next thing that you want is to don't let users book appointments more than. And in this particular instance, I picked 8 weeks, but you can put just like 2 weeks only, and that'll kind of help you to control your schedule. So when people go into the schedule, the only ones they'll see is for the next 2 weeks, if that's what you select. And then you can show invitees no more than a certain amount of time slots per day. So you may have like 10 time slots, but you just want to kind of limit how many you want people to see. So you can put that number in here. And then again, you can say don't allow appointment bookings, and you can have like days, hours, and minutes from your current time. So we'll close this now. All right, so that's what our calendar looks like, and then you would select next. After next, it's going to ask you to edit your message. If you want a welcome message, you don't need to. But in this particular instance, I chose to have a welcome message and also a prompt, some questions I would like for my schedule leads to answer. So let's look at the welcome message first. Now, once you select edit welcome message, it brings you into a screen, and this is what you see is what you get, basically. So whatever you type in here is what's going to come out. You can actually add images in here as well, but we kind of kept this simple. And here for our podcast interviews, we put the following calendar is for specific podcast interviews on Smart Social Media Notes show. And if you need to schedule other types of appointments with Smart Office Help or myself, please fill out the form on the contact page. And then I have the website. And I also gave them some additional information for this particular schedule. And then you can preview it. If you go down here to the bottom where it has preview, you can hit the preview button and you can see exactly what it looks like. So it's a very simple message that I have here. And we're going to close this. And we'll say save. And next, you can also prompt the invitees with some questions. And you don't have a lot of room for this, so you only have a couple of questions. But what you could do is you can put a link to a document that has more questions if you are doing a podcast interview, or if you're doing maybe a discovery session, or you have like a new client interview, then you can have someplace else that they can go and download questions that you need answered. So next, we hit next. So select next at the bottom, and then you'll get a message that says, congratulations, you have successfully created a new activity. Now here is going to also give you like a link code, and we're going to go over that in a minute, and you don't have to make a note of it now because it's going to be saved in your TimeTrade. And you'll also get some activity details, and within the activity details it shows the name of the activity, which is a copy of the podcast interviews that I did, and I could have changed that name but I didn't. And then it shows the duration, which is 60 minutes, and then the activity type, which is a phone meeting. Now one more thing that I want to point out on the screen is that you can actually create an email invite and you can send it, and you don't have to send it now, you can send it later, but there's an invite that you can send to people. Let's just click on that and see where it takes us. So here is where you can actually put the person's email address, and then you can put the subject and then whatever message you would like to send that person. So when they get this, all they'll have to do is to click to schedule an appointment.